Okay, in these problems, I'm going to go over slide 7, questions 1, 3, and 4. Questions 1, 3, and 4. So first question is 3.9n less than or equal to 3 parentheses n minus 4. When we see parentheses, we have to know that's multiplication. So right here on the left side, there's nothing going on that we need to fix. So we're just going to bring down our 3n. Here on the right, we're going to see 3 parentheses, so we need to multiply that with n. Remember, there's a 1 in front, so you're multiplying 3 with 1. Then you're going to multiply 3 with a negative 4. Make sure you're paying attention to the signs. So we'll bring down our 3.9n less than or equal to 3. So 3 times 1n is going to be 3n. So multiply 3n. 3 times a negative 4 is a negative 12. So if we are using our Desmos calculator, you're going to notice that when you have to multiply 3 with negative 4, in the Desmos calculator on my phone, 3 times a negative 4, I use the symbol for a minus sign. So here's your answer. Enter, and there it is. All right, negative 12. So now what we need to do is solve for the variable. So just like an equation, we're going to move our variables to one side. I would get used to moving your variables to the left for inequalities. It would make it much easier. So I'm going to move this 3n to the left side. The only way I can move that 3n to the left is by using the opposite operation. It's a positive 3n, so minus 3n. You can only move things across the inequalities by using addition or subtraction. Minus 3n. So it is 3.0n, so it cancels on the right. When I do this operation, I'm going to get a 0.9n, less than or equal to, don't forget your symbol with 12, a negative 12. If you're wondering how to put this in the calculator, it was a decimal, you might get harder decimals. Again, you can just put 3.9 minus 3 in your calculator and it's 0.9. Now we're going to undo this multiplication, so 0.9n, we're going to divide by 0.9 on each side. Divide by 0.9 on each side. So 0.9 divided by 0.9 is just my 1n or n. My less than symbol will stay the same. There's no flipping. And then I need to put negative 12 divided by 0.9 in my calculator. So negative is your minus sign, 12 divided by 0.9. It automatically pops up. You can write it as a decimal, but it's repeating, so you can write it as a fraction, negative 40 over 3. Either one is correct, but because we are graphing this on a number line, to go back and forth between your fraction and your decimal, you can use that button on the right of your answer. So negative 13.33, negative 13.33 repeating. So here, my answer shows that I'm including the value, and I'm shading all the numbers less than negative 13.33. So on my number line, I would show negative 13.33 repeating. Here, my circle is going to be closed because it's equal to, so I'm including the value. And I'm shading all the numbers to the left because all the numbers to the left of negative 13.33 are less than. And that's what my symbol says. All the numbers less than. And you're shading to the left because your symbol is pointing to the left. This only works, that idea only works if your variable is on the left. You shade in the direction where your inequality is. But you really want to understand that these values are less than negative 13.33. Next problem. Slide number 7, problem number 3. This is a longer problem where we need to do more work before we move things across the inequality. So we have 36 minus parentheses, n, a 9 minus 2m, close parentheses, greater than 7m plus 4, parentheses, m minus 9. In this problem, you're going to distribute a negative 1 to each term inside the parentheses on the left, and you're going to distribute a positive 4 to each term inside the parentheses on the right. So first, let's work on the left. 36, there is no multiplication with this because it's on the outside, so you bring it straight down. When you multiply a negative 1 with a negative 9, or a positive 9, it's going to be a negative 9. Now I'm going to take a negative 1 and multiply it with a negative 2m. Negative times a negative is a positive, so plus 2m. Bring your variable down. My parentheses have gone away because I'm done multiplying. Bring down your symbol. Here, 7m, there's no multiplication, so I need to bring that straight down. Next, I'm going to take a positive 4 and multiply it with a positive 1m. So 4 times 1m is a positive 4m, so I need to put that plus or minus sign. Next, I'm going to take 4 and multiply it with a negative 9. When I multiply 4 with a negative 9, it's going to be a negative 36. So make sure you're paying attention to those signs. Now I'm going to combine my like terms on the left. Because there are so many terms on each side, I don't want to start moving things across the inequality symbol until I clean up my work and I can have it to where I have variables on both sides and a number on both sides. Then I can start moving things around. So on the left, you're going to notice that you have 36 minus 9. These are going to be your like terms that you need to combine before you start to move on. So 36 minus 9 is 27. You do exactly what it says. When they're on the same side of the inequality, you use the same sign to combine them. It's only when they're on opposite sides that you use the opposite sign to combine them. Bring down your plus 2m because there's nothing you can combine with it. Greater than 7m plus 4m. These are like terms on the right side, so I need to combine them before I move on. 7m plus 4m is 11m. Then I'm just going to bring down my minus 36. Now that I'm done cleaning up my work, now it's time to move my variables to one side and numbers to the other. When you're dealing with inequalities, I would practice moving your variables to the left because then you wouldn't have to worry about flipping your symbol in the end or rewriting your answer. So I'm going to move my 11m to the left by subtracting 11m from both sides. Subtract 11m. 27 is going to come straight down. And then I'm going to take 2 minus 11 is a negative 9m. Then I'm going to bring down my symbol. I have a positive 11 minus 11, goes away, it cancels. Now I need to bring down this entire number with the sign in front. Do not forget about the sign, it will mess up your problem. Next I need to move my numbers to the other side. So now that I move my variables to the left, I have to move the numbers to the right, my constants to the right. So the only way I can move this positive 27 is by subtracting 27. Subtracting 27. Once I'm done subtracting 27 from both sides, I'm going to cancel out 27 minus 27, bring down my negative 9m, bring it with the sign in front. My greater than symbol, and then I'm going to take that negative 37 and subtract 27. So you should get a negative 63. So now I have my variables on one side, constants on the other. Now I just need to get rid of that value in front of the variable. So negative 9 times m, opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide by a negative 9. Divide by a negative 9. When you divide by negative 9 on both sides, negative 9 divided by negative 9 is m. So you're going to notice something that's going to happen. Since I divided by a negative, this symbol, the rule when you're dealing with inequalities, must flip. So it's going to flip from a greater than sign to a less than sign. And negative 63 divided by negative 9 is a positive 7. So I know I did this problem right if in the end I flip my symbol because you divide by a negative. When you divide by a negative, you flip your symbol. Your symbol must flip if you divide by a negative. Okay? Now we're going to move on to the next problem. The last problem is number 4 on slide number 7. I'm sorry. I can go back and go over how to graph this really quick before we move on. So on our number line, when we graph this, you're going to find 7 on your number line. Look at this symbol. It is less than, so I'm not including that value. I have to have an open circle, and all the numbers less than 7 are to the left of 7. So all of the numbers that I'm including are shaded to the left. It is pointing to the left, so that does make that correlation. But again, you can only use that if your variable's on the left side. Okay, the last problem I'm going to go over is number 4. Number 4, you have 5 parentheses 1 minus k. I'm going to fix this because we have that other paper behind it. Okay, 5 parentheses 1 minus k minus 7 parentheses 7 plus k, close parentheses, less than or equal to negative k. Okay, so you're going to notice you have a lot of multiplying on the left, but you just have that one variable on the right. So we're going to deal with this a little differently. Because I was telling you to move variables to the left, this is a case where you probably need to move the variable to the right so you're not left with 0 on the other side. All right, let's go ahead and work this problem out. We're going to multiply 5 with 1, and you're going to multiply 5 with a negative 1. Okay, so 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times a negative 1k is a negative 5k, or minus 5k. So you're done multiplying once you're done with those parentheses. Now you're going to see this negative 7, and we need to multiply that negative 7 with a positive 7, and negative 7 with positive 1k. So when you're doing that, you're going to take negative 7 times negative 7 is negative 49. Negative 7 times k, or 1k, is negative 7k. Then you have your less than or equal to symbol, and you bring down a negative k. So now we need to clean up our work before we move on. When you clean up your work, you're going to notice on the left side that we have a positive 5, and you're going to combine that with a negative 49. So positive 5 minus 49 is a negative 44. But we're not done combining. We also have other like terms on the left side. So let's go ahead and combine this negative 5k with this negative 7k. They are on the same side of the inequality, so you use the exact same sign to combine them. Negative 5k minus 7k is a negative 12k. Then we bring down our symbol, less than or equal to negative k. So now this is a case where you want to move your variable to the right. So I'm going to move negative 12k to the right side of my inequality. Because I have negative k by itself on the right, I don't want to move negative k and only be left with 0. You could do that, but I'm going to show you this other option. So if I want to move negative 12k, I want to add negative 12k to each side to cancel it out on the left. I'm going to cancel it out, and it goes away on the left. Bring down my negative 44. Bring down my symbol exactly the way it is. Nothing changes yet. And if I have a negative 1k and I add 12k to it, I'm going to have a positive 11k. From here, I need to undo multiplication between 11 and k and divide by negative 11. Divide by positive 11. Divide by positive 11. So from here, I need to just simplify. So negative 44 divided by 11 is a negative 4. My symbol stays exactly the same because I didn't divide or multiply by negative, and then 11 divided by 11 is k. This is my answer, but I need to rewrite this so that I can have my variable on the left and I can graph this correctly. So if I need to rewrite this, put your variable on the left, k, put your number on the right, negative 4, and then your symbol should be exactly the same as it is here. Your symbol should be opening up at k. So that means I need to flip it around and open it up at k, because this is reading negative 4 is less than or equal to all of these numbers. Well, this is the same thing. All of these numbers k are greater than or equal to negative 4. They mean the same thing, but in order for us to graph it correctly on the number line, we need to be able to have that variable on the left. Here, to graph it at negative 4, you will have a closed circle because it's equal to, so you're including negative 4, but all the numbers greater than or equal to negative 4 are going to be to the right of negative 4. So you'll shade all of those values to the right. Again, you can use that symbol because it's pointing to the right. You wouldn't be able to use that same idea if we had a k on the right side. But again, all the numbers greater than or equal to negative 4 shows this on the inequality.